like that. Woo!
What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up Show. My name is BJ Matthews, aka B Jizzle. You know what I'm saying? First of all, before y'all get started, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead and hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? Wipe your feet before you enter this house. You know what I'm saying? Hit the comment section. You know what I'm saying? Also, continue to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. We got a good one for y'all today. The playoffs have just started, or I'm sorry, the finals is about to start this week on Thursday between the Golden State Warriors and the Boston Celtics. So congrats to both teams for being able to make the playoffs or make the finals. Excuse me, kind of late. Um, the finals will be the Boston Celtics and the Golden State Warriors. But I want to talk about the subject we got here on the screen. Um, right now, we got the Donovan Mitchell possibly going to the Miami Heat. Um, there was a story that I read this morning. Actually, I'm gonna put it on here right now so y'all can see the screenshot. Y'all can see on the screen. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button, y'all. Continue to hit that like button. People that walk in, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all coming through. Um, Donovan Mitchell to the Miami Heat. I actually saw this story actually this morning. As y'all can see on the screen, Miami Heat named front runner to land three-time All-Star Donovan Mitchell. Okay. Um, for those y'all remember, y'all know that the Miami Heat got eliminated in 7 games against the Boston Celtics on Sunday from a score of 196. It was a very, very intense series between the two and very entertaining. Um, the Boston Celtics proved that they are a very, very good team, very deep team. We know a lot of talent, great coaching, uh, very good talent with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but also good role players with Marcus Smart, Al Horford, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, Grant Williams, Robert Williams. A lot of weapons on that Boston team, right? And I believe they're going to put up a good fight against the Golden State Warriors. Miami, for the most part, let's just say if Jimmy Butler was not playing, then the Miami would either been getting swept or gentlemen swept, right? Salute my man Jonathan Smith. Salute, brother. Salute. Um, they would have pretty much swept. Jimmy Butler pretty much single handedly carried this team. They had some contributions with Bam Adebayo, Kyle Lowry here and there, Victor Oladipo here and there, but for the most part, it was Jimmy Butler, carrying this team and pretty much having them believing that they were, going to win that series. If it wasn't for his 41 point per game performance in game one, 29 point per game performance in game two, 47 in game three, and then our game six, and then 36 in game five or game seven. He was keeping them competitive. Let's just be honest. I know he had two, bad games in game four and game five after the knee injury, but all in all, he was the best player in that series. But it's clear to say that they definitely are lacking a couple things. One thing that the Miami Heat are lacking is they're lacking more size. Bam Adebayo being their biggest player, starting at 6'9", you could pretty much call him a power forward. You got PJ Tucker, who's the power forward for that team starting, but he's, pretty undersized, but he's very aggressive. He has a lot of heart, plays tough defense, but he's undersized. Bam Adebayo is 6'9", 6'10". So when you go up against bigger players, it's going to be somewhat of a, hard task. Boston just made Miami look small, right? So that's one of their problems. Another thing that they need to improve on is their outside scoring. Okay, with Tyler Hero being out that series, it was very clear that Jimmy Butler was the only guy to really get his shot off. Sorry about that. He was the only guy that can really get his shot off playmaking. Guys like Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, Kyle Lowry, even to an extent, were extremely limited with scoring and playmaking. Right, Victor Oladipo as well. They just really couldn't get their shot off. You know what I mean? So Miami needs another dynamic scorer on that perimeter to help Jimmy out with the load. And this is something that has been brewing in the media for quite some time with Donovan Mitchell possibly coming to the Miami Heat. Jordan Smith said he really needed another scorer. Mitchell would be nice, but he sucks at defense. We're gonna get into all that, brother. We're gonna get into all that. So the possible trade scenario that was brought up was Tyler Hero um, and some picks, first round picks, along with some cash, uh, would be the trade scenario to get Donovan Mitchell. Now, a couple things y'all need to take into account. Um, Donovan Mitchell, his situation in Utah right now is pretty much him and Rudy Gobert. They've tried this tandem for the last 4 years and it just hasn't worked. You talk about some of the flameouts they had in Utah. They had the bubble where they let the Denver Nuggets come back from a 3-1 lead. You talk about the Clippers just last season where they allowed the Clippers to beat them in 6 games as the number one seed without Kawhi Leonard the last 2 games. I actually was in attendance for that game 6 against the Clippers, and the Jazz literally let that game go. So you talk about those 2 years, and then this season they lost the Mavericks with Luka Doncic being out for the first 3 games. So the tandem just doesn't work in Utah. They don't have great defense over there on the perimeter. Rudy Gobert is their main defensive asset. Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert obviously have some chemistry issues on the court they're trying to work through. And then, of course, Rudy Gobert, the famous quote a few weeks ago saying it's either going to be him or me. Basically saying that Rudy Gobert is saying it's either going to be Donovan or me that has to leave the team. Now, I don't know where he feel like he can get that type of pull where he can make that demand, but he made it. So nonetheless, they need to make a trade in Utah. So Miami has a problem and Utah has a problem. So that's the possible trade scenario, right? Is there any way they can trade A for AD because AD does have defense? He can shoot. He can defend from 1 through 5. I don't think they want AD because they got Bam, and I don't think defense is Miami's problem. Matter of fact, I know it's not their problem. So I don't think AD would be somebody they really get or really would want. But yeah, let me talk about some of the benefits. Again, we're talking about Donovan Mitchell possibly going to the Miami Heat. Um, you know what I'm saying, for this, this trio, which I actually would not mind seeing. I really think that Donovan Mitchell fits with this Miami Heat culture. I feel like Donovan Mitchell is a great asset to this team because um, it's reported him and Bam Adebayo are super cool. Him and Jimmy Butler are cool. He seems to be a guy that comes in and works, and he plays hard. He has a lot of heart. We're pretty much was what Miami Heat culture is about. Holding yourself accountable, playing hard, playing together, playing as a team, right? So a few of the benefits of having Donovan Mitchell. First of all, star power. You bring in Donovan Mitchell to this Miami Heat team, you can bring in a guy who has some star power. It's clear to see that Jimmy Butler in that series against Boston, the Boston Celtics have more star power on that team. Guys who are big time players can make big time shots. You know what I'm saying? You can only go so far with role players that have heart. At the end of the day, it's still a stars league, and you need your stars to win in the big moments. Miami's a very great seasoned team. They play hard. They play together. They play as a team. They play with a lot of heart. But when it comes to playoffs, your big time players have to show up. Those are going to be the guys that hit the big shots. Those are guys going to be making the big plays. That's what Jimmy Butler did for them. But again, like, you can only do so much as one guy. So what Mitchell would bring is another person that other opposing teams would have to worry about and have to really key in on. Tuna Sports said Miami need another scorer like D. Mitchell who will attack the rim. Exactly. Donovan Mitchell put a lot of pressure on defenses because of his scoring and how explosive he is, right? So that's another thing. Perimeter scoring. His perimeter scoring. Donovan's a 3-tier scorer. He's been very compared to Dwyane Wade. I think Donovan is like 6'2". I've seen him up close. Like he's about 6'2", 6'3". Very nice body, very big, big shoulders, strong, can get to the cup, attacks the basket very well. And in a lot of ways, he does a lot of things Jimmy Butler can do, right? He can explode to the basket. He can shoot the mid range, but he also can do something Jimmy has struggled with, and that's shooting the three. The problem with Donovan Mitchell, though, is he's kind of inefficient, But I think a lot of that has to do with the type of system they have in Utah, which is not really much. You bring him to a team like Miami, he'll have his percentages go up because the system they'll have him in. He'll get more easier shots, more high percentage shots, and his percentage will go up. It's very hard to shoot a high percentage when you don't have a really good system, right? But just by his talent, just by his explosive scoring, Mitchell can be a 20, 25 per game point scorer with Jimmy Butler. You know what I mean? So that's another thing. And then finally, he's a playoff performer. Look, Donovan Mitchell has been to the playoffs every year of his career. You know what I mean? So first year he beat a prime OKC team with Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Carmelo Anthony. His first season. Nobody knew who this cat was. And a lot of it had to do with Donovan Mitchell started very early, like, getting hot very early. Devin Booker, Ben Simmons, players that kind of came around his draft class didn't get the start that Mitchell got. And I think that's why people look at Mitchell like he's kind of failed because he started off so hot that the only direction he can go to was down, right? But he's been in the playoffs every year. You know what I'm saying? He performed, even though he lost in the bubble. Him and Jamal Murray had that historic back and forth battle in the bubble, right? I think 51-48 and 37, like this crazy points. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy scoring. High action basketball in the playoffs against Jamal Murray, and then of course against the Clippers. Even though they lost last year, those first two games, he was looked at as the best player in the league. You had guys like Stephen A. Smith, which I totally disagree. He was saying like Donovan Mitchell was the best player in Utah Jazz history. That's how great this guy was playing. You know what I'm saying? So he's shown himself in the playoffs individually. Now they've had some team flameouts in the playoffs as a team in Utah, but that happens. You cannot everybody can't win, right? So those are some of the positives. Now, as far as positive, there's always some concerns, there's always negatives. Y'all continue to hit that like button, y'all. I love the podcast, dog. I watch it all the time. My man, appreciate you, Jordan. I wouldn't mind that duo or big three. Yeah, that'd be dope. That'd be dope. But some of the stuff that I would have to, kind of pause for causes or questions is their personnel. How is Donovan going to fit with Jimmy and Bam? Right? Donovan does a lot of the same things Jimmy does. They both like the ball in their hands. They both like to go downhill. They can play off the ball. I think Jimmy can play off the ball because he's 6'6", 6'7", and he plays, elite defense. And he just, to me, he's just a very, very high maintenance skill player. So he can adapt to any situation. Donovan playing off the ball, even though he did in Utah, he's still undersized, right? So I think they'll find a way to work that out and be a dynamic backcourt. But Bam, how do you get him involved? Are you going to make him a strictly defensive player and just kind of just allow him just to, catch alley-oops off the pick and pop and pick and roll and stuff like that? How are we going to use Bam Adebayo? That's the only thing I would say. They got to find a way to see how Donovan is going to fit with this core group. Are you going to have Donovan run the point? Are you going to have Jimmy run the two? What about Gabe Vincent? How are you going to fit into all this? He needs some minutes as well. Like, he's had a good season. He's going to need some minutes. How do you fit these other role players in with now Donovan coming aboard? Another thing, salaries. This ain't 2K. This ain't NBA 2K, you know what I mean? So the money has to match. It's still a business at the end of the day. Now, I know Donovan signed a deal for like 5-year, 148, 158 mil. Just, I think last year, he signed a 5-year deal. So is he going to finish off that contract? Is he going to, play another year in Utah? Is the deal with him and Tyler Hero? How are they going to make that work? Tyler Hero, he's still on his rookie contract. You know what I'm saying? He's up for a new deal this upcoming summer. That's why this is such a big subject. and he was like on a 4 year, $17 million deal. Donovan makes more than that in one season. I think this year he made 28 mil, and then it went to 32, then 34, then to 34 again, and 37 mil. He said, I thought he was connected to the Knicks. I ain't hear nothing about Miami. Nah, Epic Plays. The Knicks apparently are not the front seat right now. I'm gonna put up the picture again so you can see. You can see where it says Miami Heat named front runner to land 3-time All Star. Y'all can see that right there on the top. And I don't really feel like New York would be a place for him anyway. I mean, because at the end of the day, I think Donovan wants to win. I think they just brought up the Knicks because he has ties in New York. I think his pops is part of the New York Mets executive management team and stuff like that. But as far as New York, like, what would be the point of going to New York? It would kind of be the same thing as Utah. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to win a championship. He would be way better off in Miami, where he would get a guy like Jimmy, who's, you know, ready to win right now, a Class A organization, and especially what they did in the playoffs. Like, Donovan could be the missing piece, right? Jordan said, who are they giving up to get Mitchell? They're talking about Tyler Hero, some first round picks, and cash value. I don't think it's enough to get Mitchell. I think they need to throw in a couple more players, probably like a Duncan Robinson and maybe a Max Strus or a Victor Oladipo, because you're talking about giving up your franchise player. They're gonna want pieces that, you know, suit them as well. It has to work on both sides. So the salaries have to match. And if they don't match up front, they got to find a way to make a three-team trade or something, or 4-team trade, right? Um, this is also something I've meant to say for the positive. Dwyane Wade. Now, it's funny how D Wade became, you know, all of a sudden like a president, or, you know, part owner of the Utah Jazz. All of a sudden, he had, like, you know, ownership, put a stake in the ownership. It's kind of funny because Utah is not really that main of attraction. Now we know that him and Donovan Mitchell are very close. They're very good friends. Mitchell kind of looks up to Dwyane Wade as a mentor, so that, you know, was kind of the reason why they kind of gave him that. That's what kind of, you know, drawn the way to the Utah Jazz. But then I started thinking about it deeper, and I was just like, okay, Utah, Miami, Utah, Miami. Like, Miami is Wade County. Like, people know who Dwyane Wade is in Miami. And then I look at Utah, okay, Donovan Mitchell's there. And then you start hearing some stories about how Donovan Mitchell can go to play in Miami. So it's kind of like making sense. It's kind of adding up. Is Dwyane Wade being somewhat of a middleman to connect Donovan Mitchell to Miami, right? Donovan Mitchell also, if y'all don't know, he actually goes to Miami and trains at this place called the Miami Hoop School. Y'all can go look it up. It's like a training facility. Like, you know, NBA players go there to work out and, you know, scrimmage and, you know, play pickup. In the summertime, Donovan Mitchell is down there regularly. He has connections, like I said, with Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler. And then you got Dwyane Wade now. So it's like all these things are adding up until this could be a very, very good deal to bring Mitchell to Miami. I don't really see the point of him going to New York, right? Y'all continue to hit that like button. Tyler Hero and Kyle Lowry will be in that package, but do you give up Hero? Yeah, I would. You have to, because again, like, who's better between Hero and Donovan Mitchell? And I think Hero has enough value where you can bring him on Utah, and he wants to have his own team anyway. Like, Tyler Hero wants to be the man on the team. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to be that on Miami. But if he goes to Utah with Jordan Clarkson and Mike Conley and Rudy Gobert, he can be that guy. He can be a starter, and, you know, he can have a fresh start, and he can, you know, have, you know, more of the freedom in the offense, right? And if you bring in guys like a Max Strus and maybe a Victor Oladipo, if you can, I don't think Kyle Lowry would. I don't know if Kyle Lowry will leave, or I don't know how much Utah would want him because they already got Mike Conley. But if they brought, say, like a Victor Oladipo and a Max Strus, those are two defenders that can help out Utah as well because they lack defense on the perimeter, and you can get some shooters with Strus and Tyler Hero and scoring. So it kind of, like I said, it works for both sides. It's not just like one side's getting all the benefits and the other side is just getting the breadcrumbs. And like I said, Donovan Mitchell, he's just him and Gobert doesn't work out. So it's like, what are you holding on for? Jordan Smith said Pat Riley would do anything to win. Remember that. That's gonna be my next win. Danny Ainge and Pat Riley. Now, this is actually gonna be a negative. It's gonna be somewhat of an issue. And that's why I think Dwyane Wade's involved because he has ties to both these guys. Now, Danny Ainge and Pat Riley have somewhat of a beef from like the 80s when Pat Riley was coaching the Lakers and Danny Ainge was playing on the Boston Celtics. That famous rivalry between the two that carried on still to this day. In the executive part, where Pat Riley became the president for Miami, and Danny Ainge became the president for the Boston Celtics. They had still somewhat of a beef where I think Danny Ainge commented on something about LeBron James when he's playing with Miami. Pat Riley jumped in, said he needs to shut the f up, and he needs to worry about managing his own team. And then things just blew up from there. These two don't like each other. Just put it like that. They don't like each other. They do not mess with each other. They don't deal with each other. So um, it's a situation where they're both trying to. They're both really like they prefer not to do business with each other. But in anything when you deal with your organization, you're gonna do what's best for your team. If the money's right and the deal's right and it works for both sides, they will find a way to make a deal happen. Right? I mean, they're not gonna just have something out because of personal feelings at the end of the day. You know what I mean? When the last time the Heat won a championship? 2013, when they had LeBron, D Wade, and Bosh that year when Ray Allen hit that shot. That was the last time they won. They went to the finals in 2020, 2014 and 2020, and they went to the conference finals this year. So yeah, but yeah, man, they this to me, if you ask me my thoughts, my personal thoughts about this, I would love to see this happen because number one, I think Jimmy Butler deserves to have another player that can help him win the championship. He's proven to me he's a top 10 player. And I know what people is thinking, like, how could you say that, when he doesn't do this in the season? I'm more of a guy that seems to do it if you do it in the playoffs. Because even in the season, Jimmy Butler is still averaging like somewhere between 22 and 23 points, 24 points a game. You know what I'm saying? If you average that and you still put up really, really good stats and your playoff numbers go up, then to me, you're still good enough to be top 10. Right. And I think Donovan Mitchell will be the perfect piece on his Miami team. You know what I mean? So I would love to see this happen. Um, I'm gonna drop this link so y'all can come in. But I would love to see this happen just for the simple fact that I think it worked good for everybody. And I just like to see the game continue to evolve and teams to get better. Like I want to, see that throwback type of style of basketball. And it's just time for Utah to move on. Like at this point, Utah's kind of been, rolling the same dice the last 3, 4 seasons, man, and it's not working. Quinn Snyder's probably gonna be gone. Um, Mike Conley might be gone. They're probably gonna most likely just blow that team up or try to, move some pieces one by one. You know what I mean? So yeah, look at some of these comments. Uh, Juice Double D 99. Nah, welcome to the show, brother or sister, whatever. I'm sorry, I don't, I can't tell by your screen name. But you asked, do you think the deal is likely? I do, I do. Because it works for both sides. Because Miami and Utah will be getting what they want. The only way I can say it not be likely is because of the money doesn't line up. Because Mitchell did just sign up the contract last season for 5 years supermax. I mean, is Danny Ainge going to be willing to give in and allow Donovan Mitchell to leave? If he does, like, end up staying, I believe it'll only be for like 1 year because it's just really about, what the Jazz want to do. Do they want to, like, just have Donovan Mitchell honor his contract for as long as possible, or do they want to go ahead and just go to a different direction and build their team while they can? Right. So I think it's likely if you're talking about just what's on the court and it having a fit for both teams. But the only thing I can say is if it's money wise, money wise, it could be an issue. So I don't know how I feel about this, to be honest. What you hesitant about Epic Place? What you think about it? What you hesitant about? I know you team Heat all day. So what you hesitant about? Do you see Mitchell at the Heat? Yeah, I think Donovan fits perfect, man, with this type of with this team, bro. I think Donovan fits perfect. If you ask me, I think he's somebody that can really be an asset. When does the trade day start? Let me see. Trades, NBA trade start. I want to say sometime in June, but let me check. So make sure I got this right. Tuna Sports says, "Do not give Tyler the max." Yeah, he won't get the max, man. He won't get the max. So August 6th is when NBA teams may be assigned free agents to contracts. August 2nd is when teams can begin negotiating. So Donovan is not a free agent yet, so it will have to come as a trade. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be able to come in as a it wouldn't be able just to come in as a you can just make a move. Like, they're literally planning right now about what to do about this, man. I don't know. As far as what I feel like this is gonna happen, I think I would like to see this. I really would. Because I think, like I said, Donovan is perfect for this type of culture. I think he has Miami Heat culture written all over him. You said you know what you're getting from Mitchell. The Heat know the guy's gonna average. Yeah, that's what you need. They need somebody to take the pressure off Jimmy. And when I say take the pressure off Jimmy, I mean you have to find a guy, because Mitchell's only 25 years old, who has a lot of energy, who can push the floor, who can score buckets, and just give Jimmy a rest. Right? So I think Mitchell is that guy. I think Mitchell is that guy. And I think he's ready to get the hell up out of Utah. My man Herm was good. He said, I think Bradley Beal going to Miami, bro. I heard about Bradley Beal, but I think he's going to resign in Washington. I think he's going to take the Supermax. Now, I was going to actually add Bradley Beal to this video, but once I read that story about him possibly most likely staying, I kind of just kind of backed off. But I think they're going to let him. He's going to resign in Washington get the bad, bro. Honestly, which tells me that he's more concerned about just taking care of his family than you know, try to go for a championship. And I respect it, but yeah, I think he's gonna be staying. Tuna Sports said, you know what, if you can't get D Mitchell, go for it. Jimmy not getting younger in Miami's and when yeah, because think about it like this. If y'all go back to 2005, the Heat were in the same position at that time where they were trying to find like they got eliminated in the conference finals and D Wade was hurt and then they had to make some moves in '06 to get over the hump and they won the championship in '06. You fast forward to 2020 where they made it to the finals in the bubble. The next following season, 2021, they get blitzed by Milwaukee with the same squad. So if you're in this situation with Miami, you know what the problem is. You know you need to improve your scoring. You need to improve, your half court offense. You got to bring in somebody that can change the needle. Because if you bring this same team back, they're not going to win the finals. They're not going to go to the finals. It's going to be very tough. You know, PJ Tucker, Kyle Lowry are older. Um, and you know what I'm saying, they just got to have somebody that can, take the pressure off Jimmy. Jimmy, I'm surprised he carried that team the way he did, honestly. Because if y'all think about it, they should have been done within 5 games. But I mean, he's just that great where, his will pretty much carried them. You know what I'm saying? Juice WD9 side. Do you see MB come to the Heat if Mitchell we can't get him? No. And I would love for y'all to get Embiid because like y'all know if y'all got Embiid, then that means y'all probably wouldn't have Bam. But I think Embiid would perfectly fit with Jimmy, right? I think because Jim and Jimmy are very close. Um, he would be a great asset with Jimmy. I think he would be in the best condition of his life because Miami don't play that. But I just don't see how they make that move. And yeah, I don't think Embiid would be able to get there. Honestly, I don't know how they pull it off. I'll be honest, I'm a fan too here, so I don't want to get rid of him because he's developed. Yeah, and that's kind of the thing, and it's weird. And y'all correct me if I'm wrong, every place, but I hear that Tyler Hero is more popular than Jimmy in Miami. Like he's more popular with the jersey sales and everything. So he's not only just developing, but fans like really love him. You know what I'm saying? So I feel you that he's a fan favorite. Herm said he can trade Hero and Duncan Robinson. Yeah, that's the trade off I would give him too, bro. I would say Hero, Robinson, and maybe even Oladipo because Utah needs a perimeter defense. You know what I'm saying? They got enough scoring, but with Clarkson and Conley and Bogdanovich, they got enough outside scoring, but they need perimeter defense. That's why I said I would actually trade Hero, Strus, and Oladipo because that would actually give you some defense. Because Strus plays defense and so does Oladipo. Tuna Sports said, "Who better, Bradley Beal, D Mitchell?" Uh, well, that's a good question. D Mitchell's more accomplished. Um, he has more of a resume. Um, he's box office, and he's had more playoff success. But I think Bradley Beal would be a better fit because I think what Bill's like 6'5", and he can stretch the floor with 3-point shooting. He's actually not. He's actually efficient from the field shooting the ball. Um, and I like Bill. I just think the only thing with him he gets hurt too much, but I think he's a better fit. Um, even more than Mitchell. But I just don't think they're gonna get. I don't think Bradley Beal's leaving Washington, but Donovan Mitchell would not be bad. I think he'll be an upgrade from Tyler Hero. We would have to give him Tyler, Vic, and a couple bits. Yeah, and I would be cool with that. EP, I would be cool with that. If you can get Mitchell for those two and some picks, I would not be because really what you're saying, you're in win mode right now, and y'all development team is probably one of the best in the NBA. Like y'all develop players, so y'all really don't need to focus on picks. So if y'all have to give up a couple picks, I mean that's really not much. Like y'all got 5 undrafted players already, so y'all build off what y'all have. He is the man has a song by Jack. Yep, yep. And I heard that song too. That's actually a cool song. Her and Bill is just a better scorer. Yeah, he's a better scorer, and he fits better with that team because he spreads the floor. He can shoot threes better than Mitchell. Like Mitchell, like I said, he's like Jimmy. He needs the ball in his hands. Like Bradley don't need the ball in his hands, so he can play better off of Jimmy Butler. Because the whole thing is to make Jimmy Butler comfortable, and that's why I was saying you gotta look at how they gonna fit as a team. You know what I mean? If I were to heat Mitchell's younger, so that's why I would choose Mitchell. Yeah, I think Mitchell's 25 years old, so he'll be big. He'll be big for that team, bro. So I like Mitchell. I like Bill. I mean, you can't really go wrong with either or, but I just think Mitchell's more likely to get because I don't think Bradley's looking to leave Washington. If anything, I would like to have Bill on Philly. I like to have Bill on Philly, and they could trade Tyrese Maxey and uh Tobias Harris for Bill. I would actually take that deal, and Bill can create his own shot. Yeah, Bill can, bro. Bill he gets slept on so much. Y'all know he was the leading scorer last year in the league, but because he's hurt a lot, and he's on a bad team. He gets kind of like forgotten about. But Bill is a problem, man. I think he's better than Zach LaVine. So I think he's better than Zach LaVine, honestly. So yeah. See, I heard LaVine is a free agent. I think Miami should try to get him. How you think LaVine would fit? I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. I'm not a big fan of Zach LaVine, only because he is he seems to be a little sporadic. He seems to be more of a player that takes a lot of low percentage shots. Um, I think I think Bill would settle into his role a lot more than LaVine would, because you already see what LaVine's doing with Chicago. He wants to get out because he feel like he's a super max player. So I think Bill wouldn't give you those type of issues. I think Bill would just play his game, play his role, and he'll contribute to that team how it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really too big on LaVine. I don't think it would move much of the needle if they got him, honestly. You'll get extra points and extra scoring, but you also follow that up with a lot of nights where he's inconsistent from scoring and also defensively a liability. But hey, that's what it is. What it is. Tune in Sports. I wouldn't trade Tyrese Maxey two times. I would trade him for Bill. If you had a chance to get, if I have a chance to get Bradley Bill, I would trade Maxey. And I like Maxey too, but again, I mean, like it's Kyle, just like Mitchell in Utah, right? He brings in Maxey brings in that value, because if you bring Maxey in, that's a good trade commodity to get a Bradley Beal because Philadelphia, they're trying to win a championship, right? They're trying to win a championship. They're not going to trade James Harden right now, obviously. So if you have Harden, Bill, and Embiid, that's somewhat of a good trio. Now, it depends how James Harden holds up. You can talk about like a super team, but I mean, Bill on that team, where he can fit on any team, really, honestly. Like that's the great thing about Bradley Bill. He can fit on any team you put him on. So yeah, Herm says LaVine plays no D. Yeah, he don't play no D. He don't play, and Bill actually will try to play defense. He'll actually play defense. So that's why I've always been more of a Bill guy than a LaVine guy. So see what else y'all got, man. Got a little more time left. What y'all how y'all feel about the finals? Who y'all got for the finals? Y'all going for the Warriors, you got the Celtics, how many games and all that good stuff. Herm said Warriors in 5. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised about that. I'm just I feel like Boston, you know what it is? I think Boston before the series started, I felt good that they could be a contender, a serious contender in the finals. But after what I've seen with Miami, they kind of to me they're not as dominant as projected. I mean, if you look at the playoff run, you talk about the Brooklyn Nets. None of those games were like blowout games. All those games were close. It was just a matter of Kevin Durant playing, you know, probably the worst we've seen him in the postseason. Kyrie Irving having one good game, them not having no interior presence. Him, Steve Nash's bad coaching, a variety of things that were just going bad for the Brooklyn Nets. And the Boston Celtics with the good coach of Ime Udoka and their excellent defense, they were locked in. You track to the second round against Milwaukee, they go 7 games against them without Chris Middleton. You transfer them to Jimmy Butler in the Miami Heat, they lose Tyler Hero for 4 games. They have multiple games where they shoot bad from the field. They're undersized. They're hurt with Kyle Lowry and PJ Tucker and Jimmy Butler. Obviously, they haven't really had to face a full team. If you think about it, yes, you faced the Brooklyn team, but Brooklyn, again, with all those things I named, troubles they had. I just think Boston against Golden State. If somebody told me Warriors in 5 like Hearn, I can understand that. I'm not really impressed with them in that Miami series, to be honest with you, because you almost let one guy beat you by himself. Celtics played really bad to me the whole series against. Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I'm saying, Hearn. That's why I was saying the other night that I don't think Boston's this dominant team, bro. I don't think Jason Tatum took over a series. I don't think they shut the door. They just seem to outlast the Miami Heat. So Epic Play said Warriors in 6. Yeah, Warriors in 5 and 6 is not bad. 10 TD Soul just said Boston won the NBA Finals. Okay, how many games? TD Soldier, how many games? Celtics in 7. If Tatum is able to be the best player on the floor, I'm riding with Tatum, even though Warriors. That, was he the best player on the floor against Miami? Tuning Sports. Yeah, everybody overhyping the Boston run say it could possibly be the best. Yeah, I don't. I just don't see it, man. I think because you know what I think it is, EP. I think it's because of the names. I think it's because you hear Kevin Durant and Kyrie, like that right there just rings cowbells. Like right there, Katie and Kyrie. You know, Giannis, the defending champions in Milwaukee. Then you beat the number one seed in Miami. But what they're missing is these teams were literally banged up and missing players. So I mean, if you have to really watch the games, you can just kind of tell that these teams didn't really have much of Now they have to face a fully loaded Golden State team. If they're able to beat this Golden State team, I'll be like, all right, yeah, they not a front. But if they get walked down in 5, 6 games, then I'll be like, yeah, I mean that's what I kind of figured. They're not as good as advertised. To this point, so you know the answer. Yeah, it's Jimmy Butler, bro. Did y'all know JB got a vote? Jimmy Butler got a vote for the MVP as the losing team for the Eastern Conference MVP, the Larry Bird Trophy. That's how you know Jimmy Butler was balling in that series, man. Usually the loser doesn't even get a vote. But everybody knew Jimmy Butler was the best player. But I don't have a problem with them giving it to Tatum because they won. So so you think the Heat messed up overpaying Lowry? Uh, I think they did it out of respect. I don't think it really was a. I think he was again. Like I think he was hurt, if I'm not mistaken. You know, right before the playoffs started. Before that, he was actually playing his best ball. Right. So I don't think it was overpaid. I think Kyle is deserving of the money, and he's proven. So I don't have no problem with Kyle getting the bag. So yes, a few one of y'all questions, man. Appreciate y'all coming in. Continue to hit that like button. Hit that. Let me put that in the comments. Hope y'all having a blessed night. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, man, it's somewhere I gotta watch at least the first 2, maybe 3 games to get a better idea, and we'll go back from there. I can't be objective with this one. Be objective for what, EP? What can't you be objective with? Oh, you talking about tuning sports? Y'all talking? But yeah, man, it's it's going to be as far as the Mitchell possible into the Heat. It's definitely going to be something where they're going to have to see if Tyler Hill is worth the long haul. I don't think. I think it. I mean, to me personally, I would think it works for both sides because you give Mitchell what he wants, and you'll give Tyler Hill what he wants. Tyler Hill is on team Mitchell, Donovan Mitchell winning team, right? We trade in our piece of Mitchell. I mean, it just depends the pieces, man. Like again, Miami needs scoring. Like they need scoring. They need guys to put the ball in the basket, and they just don't have enough. I think it will hurt Miami because Hero is so popular, but if you're talking about on the court, I mean, you make this move, like absolutely y'all get better. Y'all get better. I think Spoelstra will be smart enough to find a plan to make sure every one of these 3 are going to be happy. Every one of them is going to be part of the rotations and getting the shots that they need to be productive. And I think it will work out perfectly fine. And I feel like Donovan will come there willing to, take whatever role they give them. Yeah, yeah, funny. Yeah, funny, man. Shit, I'll be actually out in the Bay next week. So I might go check out one of them finals games. I know they a gang of money, but I'm gonna check it out. But hey, so I'm gonna go ahead and shut the live down, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and shut the live down. Appreciate y'all coming through. Like I said, continue to follow the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Like, share, subscribe all of our YouTube videos. You know what I'm saying? Hit the notification bell. Get the notifications out there. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, pull up a seat, pull up a chair, pull up. Peace. Out of here like swim well.